Just ask you to schedule time with the organization. So we're going to go ahead and turn it over to Katie Williams from Visit Athens.
Good evening. Thank you for having me tonight. My name is Katie Williams. I've been here for you as Executive Director. And this year, my title has changed a little bit. My role within the Classic Center, we still have the opportunity to study at Visit Athens, but now also leading the Classic Center sales and marketing teams, which really allow us to maximize our collective economic impact through more and greater collaboration of marketing and sales. And you can see here, the Visit Athens team has expanded in the past few years as hotel tax revenues have grown. It has allowed us to add additional personnel to our team, which really there is no better way to sell a destination and service those guests who are coming in than with people. The work of a CVB really extends beyond sales and marketing. Certainly that is the bulk of our day-to-day, but the reason why we do what we do and the value of destination marketing goes beyond just that initial visit experience. There's a quote that says, if you build a place where people want to visit, then you're building a place where people want to live. And ultimately, that place is somewhere that people want to work and invest. And that is why the work of a destination marketing organization and the hotel motel tax that supports Visit Athens is so crucial to the ultimate economic success and growth of Athens. Excuse me. Our team has been really busy and innovative over the past year, and they've done some tremendous things this year to move the needle for tourism in Athens. And I'm excited to share more about these and some other things that have led to our financial gains and our KPI achievements in FY25. The impact of tourism in Athens is huge. In fact, these numbers are from 2023. We do get them from the Georgia Department of Economic Development, and so it can take a while to compile and get those numbers distributed. But even nearly a year and a half ago, our visitor industry was almost a $500 million industry. You can imagine the growth that we've had in the last year and a half with the opening of the new arena and how that visitor spending is growing. But even more importantly is the tax generated on the state and local level by these visitors and what that means for every Clarke County household. The impact of tourism in Athens has been steadily growing. Back in FY 2019, it was the best year we had ever had, and then COVID hit, and we thought, gosh, how are we ever going to get back to those 2019 numbers? Well, it didn't take long to see really strong growth and surpassing those numbers in 2021 and 2022. But what you're going to see is that from 2022 to 2023, there was a slight plateau, and you will see that also in Mr. Kramer's presentation as well. It's not just reflected in the visitor spending, but in tourism as a whole. But that is why you all really had the foresight to think about what is that next thing that's going to move the needle. And we know with the opening of the arena that 2024 and 2025 is going to see huge gains again in visitor spending. So I can't wait to return in a year or two and share that $500 million industry. I'm talking about the arena because I do think it's important to share and look at this as an attractor. Certainly an attraction is something local that people can enjoy when they're in our town and something that Athenians can enjoy. And the Athens Ford Arena is certainly that. But it is driving room nights and economic impact for our business, for our community in huge ways. Whether they're coming for Rock Lobsters games or concerts like they did a few weeks ago for the two-night sold-out Megan Maroney's show that saw a 22% increase in hotel occupancy over that same Friday night from last year. The Athens Ford Arena is a attractor that our community can certainly be so proud of and having real impact on our downtown businesses. The PR generated from the opening of the arena was huge. Just within the first few weeks of the opening, we saw over 12 million impressions, largely in the Atlanta market and in huge ways. We had national or regional television coverage in Atlanta twice on Fox 5 and WSB TV, and it's great because every time they were talking about the arena and the Georgia Music Collections, they're talking about Athens. Our sales team has been working really hard to grow both the room nights that they're contracting and the destination services that they're offering, which includes our housing bureau and is such a crucial tool for our meeting planners and convention attendees. I'm really proud to share tonight that the future room nights contracted now has exceeded 50,000 room nights contracted, and they are on pace to achieve 65,000 future room nights contracted this year. That's huge when you consider that in a traditional year, just a few years ago,
the CVB was booking somewhere around 58,000 future room nights. Our marketing team continues to see numbers and growth in their numbers as well. Certainly everything they are trying to do is to drive website traffic so that those visitors to our website are inspired and will plan their visit, but also so they will go to our partner websites. Throughout visitathensga.com, we are listing information about the local businesses, the local events, restaurants, retailers, and our goal is to get our visitors to our website to engage with those partner listings. And we're really proud that we've had over 122,000 partner referrals, meaning that visitors to our website have either gone on to one of our local business websites or called that local business. So some of the new things we've launched this year that are really innovative and different than your traditional marketing and visitor guides and PR. Merch, because there's no better opportunity to spread your brand than when someone's wearing it on their t-shirt. And we've certainly seen that from the Rock Lobsters and how well that has gone throughout town. And we love having people wear the Athens GA merch. It's available online, and we've been popping up at festivals selling it as well. A few years ago, we launched the ever-popular beer trail, and this year we converted it to a digital beer pass, as well as recently launching a family-friendly pass for summer. These digital passes really allow us to capture the data of people who are engaging with this type of product so that we can continue to remarket to them. The Show Your Badge program is one element of our destination services. I mentioned the Housing Bureau as well, which is where a lot of our effort goes in destination services. But the Show Your Badge program is where the rubber meets the road in getting those convention attendees to go in and support our local businesses. And then the citywide events calendar I'll talk about in a minute. But you can see more here from Visit Athens and the creative and innovative ways that we've been finding opportunities to create collaboration with local businesses, local festivals, and really engage with the visitors who are coming in town and making sure that we are maximizing their dollars and their economic impact. I do want to mention the Special Events Marketing Grant because this is so important to our local festivals. This grant goes and allows for the festivals like Twilight and Pride to apply for a marketing grant that will help them reach even more people to draw more people to their festival and ultimately have a bigger impact. The Citywide Events Council was launched this year by Visit Athens and is probably one of the most impactful and meaningful things we did. This did come out of our strategic plan, and what it does is bring together UGA, the Classic Center, and Athens-Clarke County, including our chamber, our Downtown Development Authority, and the local businesses, and your offices as well, for three primary reasons. The first is calendar coordination. We are in a time when we are having so many events. We've got events happening downtown, at the arena, on UGA's campus, bringing NCAA and SEC events, and we need to make sure that we've got, one, the hotel rooms for all of these events that are happening at the same time, and that we're just understanding how many people are coming into town at once. The second is for communication, for that very purpose, and to make sure that our downtown businesses are properly equipped to handle these crowds when they're coming in. And the third, probably the most important, is security. On these quarterly meetings, we are including the police department at UGA and Athens-Clarke County to make sure that they're aware when these huge events are happening and we can plan accordingly. We're really proud to bring back Athens Restaurant Week. This is one of our signature events that happens every year in July. This year we are partnering with the UGA's College of Ag, which houses the hospitality program, to leverage some of their local partnerships and highlight the alumni that are doing some really cool things around town. Athens Restaurant Week is one of those annual promotions that is so important to our local businesses. In fact, Peter Dale participates in it every year, and he said that with 5 and 10, that outside of Mother's Day, it's their busiest week of the year now. So year-to-date financials, how are we looking? Well, hotel tax is certainly up. It's up 11% better than budget. It's up 5% over that same time last year. What you see here are March 2025 numbers. And so when you compare hotel motel tax to March 2024, we are up 5%. Over to the right, you can see hotel tax is broken out by hotels and short-term rentals. And what I want to note, while this particular slide notes the percentages over budget, hotel tax is up 2.5% over budget, which is pretty incredible when you consider that the Hilton Garden Inn will have been closed our entire fiscal year this year. But short-term rentals is up 32% over budget. So those short-term rentals are really helping us fill the gap in this time when we've had limited hotel supply because either hotels have closed for renovations, they closed during COVID and have not reopened, or like the Hotel Abacus, which is no longer operating as the Graduate, and it's kind of, in essence, changed what the product is. On the expense side, we're tracking in just fine with a net ordinary income of $129, but I want to remind you that it's not the mission of Visit Athens to maintain income. Our mission is really to take the revenue that we receive from the dedicated portion of hotel motel tax and reinvest it into the community through marketing and sales efforts to generate economic impact through tourism. Looking ahead to FY26, the hotel motel tax number budget that has been projected, and this number is provided to Visit Athens from Athens-Clarke County Unified Government, is a little over $2 million. We've also projected our Housing Bureau at $190,000 for FY26. That's up about $20,000 over FY25. And really allows us to further our reach and mission with additional income. On the hotel motel tax, 15% of the Visit Athens portion of hotel tax does go to Historic Athens to support the Welcome Center. So what are we focused on for FY26? Well, we have three kind of overarching goals, really drawing from the success and what we've been focused on over the past year and past few years, continuing that momentum to, one, grow group room nights. How can we continue to bring new and repeat convention business to town and really expand the number of room nights that they're using? Two is leveraging the arena. This arena is huge, and we have access to ticketing data that allows us to go and market to these people who are coming to come and stay the night and have a huge impact on our town when they're coming for events. For example, tonight we've got Riley Green at the arena. It's completely sold out, completely. So it's going to have a huge impact. We were on our way walking down here, just the 2 blocks, and you could see the people visiting downtown before the concert. And then 3, enhancing that visitor experience, because when somebody has a great visit in Athens, they're going to tell 27 other people and they're going to post all about it on social media. So we want to make sure that their visit to Athens is the best it can be. Our team is meeting next week to plan its FY26 goals and objectives, and I have no doubt that the Visit Athens team is going to bring forth a lot of creative ideas to help us achieve those overarching goals. You can see here some of the things that we're going to be focused on, and I'm sure that many more will come out of next week's meeting. So thank you for the opportunity to speak with you tonight. I'm happy to answer any questions.
Thanks, Katie. We've got time for 1 or 2 quick questions.
I have a question about hotel motel tax.
Yes.
The number you put up there indicated that it was up 11%
Over budget.
over budget. So what is it up?
It's
over?
up 5% year over year.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Patrick?
Just got some praises. Thank you for the monthly, weekly newsletter.
Mm-hmm.
If y'all, my colleagues, sign up for them, y'all list a lot of wonderful events and restaurants.
Mm-hmm.
And it's a real treat for residents of Athens. The 15% that goes to Historic Athens for the visitor center, if I'm doing my math right, that's $300,000. That's a lot. Can we lower that? Is that in a contract?
That is built into an intergovernmental contract.
Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Could you go back to that slide again that Patrick was just referring to with the
Yep.
right, and maybe the mayor can clarify this for me. You're saying those remind me about how the percentages are built in.
Sure. So just to start kind of from the very high level, we have a 7% hotel motel tax in Athens-Clarke County. By state law, 5 of those 7 pennies go to the combination of the Classic Center and Visit Athens. By local decision, we give an additional penny to those 2 entities. And then by an intergovernmental agreement, you have 15% that goes to the Welcome Center.
And the 31% is the percentage of tax that is restricted to be used for marketing and promotion. So what is funding Visit Athens? The percentage that Visit Athens receives is required by hotel motel tax law to be used for the marketing and promotion of a destination by a CVB.
Okay, and that historic Athens money is going to the Welcome Center? just to
Yes, and it's
clarify.
15% of our portion.
And that is a separate inter-community government agreement. Okay. So I guess my next question, I guess this is for the mayor. As we move into budget season, can we have a copy, just see a copy of the actual agreement?
Yeah, I'm sure we've got that.
Okay.
Did we get these PowerPoints? Does anyone know?
Yeah, I'm looking for them. I can't.
Yeah, I don't see any of the
I didn't
I don't
see
see
them.
the,
If you don't have them now, we'll make sure you get them.
okay, get them, right, okay. Just want to make sure that happens.
I don't know if they're on the FTP site or not.
The written document is attached to the agenda, but not the PowerPoints.
Okay. Any other questions? Katie, thanks so
Thank
much.
you.
I
Thank
appreciate what you do.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. We're gonna have the Classic Center up next. Jeff's gonna set them up. No, we're good. We're good. All right, Paul,
Thank you.
welcome.
Welcome. And thank you so much for giving me an opportunity just to share a little bit about where we've been over the past year, where we are now, and what we're looking forward to for this next year. Before I dive in, though, to the presentation, I know all the time we were trying to get the arena together, there were a few things that you were, as a commission, very interested in, and one of those was wage floor. You wanted us to pay no less than $15.85 an hour, and that was a promise we made and a promise kept. You also wanted to really focus on employment of employing people with this new venue. And I was asked a lot of questions about exactly how many people it would take, but I can now tell you it's well over 200 employees have been added as we open the facility. And I'm sure as you think about the expansiveness of the tourism industry, it won't be long before we hit that 600 new employees coming in throughout our destination. And then finally, sustainability. I just want to remind you, and this is a good picture to do it, we do have one of the largest municipal solar systems in the state of Georgia, because not only are the solar panels on the arena, but they're also on the 58,000 square feet of exhibit space. And I believe we'll be either a silver or gold when everything shakes out. So sort of exciting as we go through. You know, I think the Classic Center has done well because from the beginning, the mission has been clear. We've been here to serve this community as a civic, cultural, social center while truly maximizing that economic impact through tourism. And I want you to really think about a lot of the things that Katie said, because sometimes I think we say maximize economic impact too quickly. But look, when we opened the arena, we thanked Dave Cappy with De Palma's for being a sponsor. And he said, no, sir, thank you. My business is up twice what it was from the year before, and I attribute it directly to the opening of the arena. And I think that ripple effect goes throughout our downtown as we make these kind of investments. And that's exactly what we had hoped to do. As an authority, we looked at, gosh, how are we doing with economic impact? And these numbers don't come from us. They come from the IMPLAN study. And I know it's a very small number up there, but it's $66 million between the Classic Center and the Performing Arts Theater that is going right back into the people who have invested in our community. On top of that, though, we know the new arena is expected to add another $30 million a year. And if you really pay attention to that little chart, you'll see that it went up, up, and then began to plateau just a bit. So the fact that the authority thought to bring forward the idea of the arena when they did was very, very smart so we can continue to grow our economic impact. Not only is economic impact growing, but certainly our revenues have grown as well. And that's what's enabled us to not only set aside the funds needed to pay back the bonds, but also to set aside over $2 million so that we have a backup to being able to pay those bonds back. Couldn't have done that without this kind of growth since 2019. But actually, your authority is doing more than either one of those things. We're also reinvesting in your facilities, and I think sometimes we forget about that, right? Who owns the Classic Center, the arena? It is you, Athens-Clarke County. And one of the neat things about your authority is that they have put back in, since 2019, $4.5 million in capital renovation. And as we look forward, we know that we'll be putting another $5.3 million replacing escalators, carpeting, theater sprinkler systems, networks, and the like. Yet, we're still serving the other parts of our mission. We're looking at the community and trying to offer either free or nearly free activities for everyone in this community, all of the residents. We're also trying to lift people up through our workforce development continuum of education. We're also ever looking at product development. Katie mentioned quite a few of those, but we're also touching on Linen Town, the musical, the Black History Museum, and now the Georgia Music Hall of Fame, all of which has become a part of our campus. And then we raised funds for the Classic Center, private funds. As we were building the arena, we raised $5.7 million of private equity funds. But in addition to that, each and every year, people are using the center to raise funds for the most important not-for-profits that we have in this community. When we did the arena, we did two major studies, and we really focused on what were those new events and the diversity of the events. And what the study said was once you open the arena, it'll take you 3 to 5 years, but you should hit the numbers that are on top. The very next line shows you what we have done thus far with those different events coming in. And I'm super proud to be able to tell you we are on a path so that by FY27, we will hit the very numbers that the study said we would hit. All along the way, I have talked to you about 3 major partners, Oakview Group, Levy Catering, and Pacquiolin, our ticketing company. And I've talked a lot about them because they've actually got skin in the game. They invested millions of dollars in this arena from the start. But the story is better than that. The Oakview Group has worked with our team, and they have raised in corporate dollars $3.1 million annually coming in to help us pay back those bonds. So if you wonder if this community is embracing your new venue, the answer is resoundingly yes. Levy has done an incredible job before we built the arena, making sure we built hospitality into each concession stand, and the results are now in. We are doubling the per head projections that our consultants had given us and that we've seen in other arenas around the country, because they're not using frozen chicken breasts. They're breading the chicken and they're making it right there in the stand, serving it fresh and hot, and it makes a difference. Pacquiolin, this number says 6.6 million, but we did way better with Disney on Ice and better tonight than anticipated, and we are now, I am proud to say, over $8 million in ticket sales this year. Now, to put that in perspective, our best year going back was $2 million with the Performing Arts Theater, and keep in mind the arena's only been open since December. It's not all good news. We do have some warts that are out there. We've built a 7,000-seat facility, and we do need more parking. We have worked really hard with the existing parking decks that are in the area and lots, and we have used Know Before You Go and sent people to various areas, and it has worked. But no doubt, the original study said we would need 400 parking spaces to be able to support the arena itself. And in fact, we now know that we do, and we know that we could add those to our existing parking deck. And we could do that while breaking even and actually making a little bit of money. Katie had mentioned the hotel situation with many hotels going down during COVID, and then some going down for PIP and whatnot. But the bottom line is that we are short about 600 rooms, and we are feeling that pinch. We are turning business away. And you're going to ask me, well, Paul, how much business have you turned away over the last year? And it exceeds $3 million in terms of what we have turned away because it can't fit here, not because we don't have the space in the building, but because I simply don't have the hotel rooms to support that business. As we look at the debt service, if I were sitting in your chair, that'd probably be my most important question, and I have good news again. Because we have done well with suites, premium, marketing, naming rights, we've done well in food and beverage, and all the areas that you see before you, I can tell you that for FY26, we are going to have the funds necessary to pay back the bonds. And once upon a time, I had told you that by 27, I estimated that we would be short. And now I can tell you that based on the trends that I'm seeing, we are going to be able to pay even the bonds back in FY27. Now, does that mean that we don't need the money from the land leases? Absolutely not. Those land leases are still critical to backstop bad years, bad times that will come in the future, as well as we need those funds to be able to support the ongoing FF&E and capital expenditures that will be needed for a facility of this size. And so I've broken down for you all the different entities that have contributed to the funding of the arena. But the arena isn't the only story. Our convention center has also seen great success. The numbers of student groups that we have and the size of those student groups continue to grow. And when you think about what's happening with those, we're bringing the best and the brightest children from throughout the state of Georgia here to compete against one another. And to know that they are up 40% year over year is astounding. Revenue gains, food and beverage in the convention center also continues to climb, and we are doing incredibly well there. And then the parking revenue has dramatically increased with both the activity going on in the arena, the convention center, and the theater, and sometimes all at the same time. I'm also very, very proud of our theater team. They never took their eye off the ball, and something you should know, most places don't have 924 season ticket holders, but we do, and we have for years. And in many ways, that's really, really good, but in some ways, if you're a new person that wants to come in and get those really good seats, you can't get them because I don't have the inventory. So this next year, we're going to go to 2 nights of Broadway, which really is a big deal because it will escalate the level of quality that we'll be able to bring to the theater while opening up a whole new segment of people to come in and be our patrons. And then finally, Allison, I give credit for this. She has brought in dance, she has brought in comedy, she has brought in family-friendly shows. She is really mixing up the diversity of what we bring inside the theater. But if you haven't been to the arena yet, I would really encourage you to come out and see it. It isn't just the big touring shows like we've sold out tonight. We're also working with local basketball teams. The Chamber of Commerce had their event there, and one of the student groups that had grown so much needed the arena to be able to stay in Athens. Otherwise, it would have gone to Atlanta, and we would have lost that economic impact. This past year, we're super proud that we've increased revenue 40% just in the time frame of December through February, year over year. We've also paid out, thus far, $3.82 million to be exact, in bond payments. I've mentioned we additionally set aside $2 million in a reserve fund. We've enhanced the guest experience all throughout our community. All I'm hearing about is how great of a time people have had at the hockey game and at the Rock Lobster, and I have to compliment them. They've done a great job with their marketing. And we've drawn record-breaking crowds to our downtown. And with your support, I know we've got a couple other things to tackle, but I'm confident we'll be able to do that together. And I just want to end by saying you have supported this industry in a very big way, and I think it's paying great dividends. And on behalf of the authority, I just want to say thank you.
Thanks, Paul. Couple questions? Patrick?
Okay, thank you, Paul.
You're welcome.
So just, I know you needed parking. I'm gonna try to play the lottery so we can get that done. So if you're selling out 50 to 60 shows, which is good, do you see any expansion in the future for, because like selling out is good, but you want to have more capacity to sell out even more. Do you see
So
the future?
the study that was originally done when we looked at adding the arena suggested that we would need to add just for the arena, not for all of the other development around, about 400 spaces. And as I talk to my other colleagues that do this in and around, that I think is the right number. We have that opportunity to simply add to the existing deck toward the east, towards the multimodal, and I'll be bringing that forward to talk with you more about that. I think it's the May-June cycle.
I was, I meant to talk, the existing theater space. Like if we added another theater, would,
Don't need another theater. The theater we have is serving us really, really well. By adding another night of Broadway, I open up the orchestra, the parterre seating, where so many new members coming in really want to sit, but they can't sit there because the people who have been here for 20 years, they're not giving up their seat to Broadway.
okay, thank you.
Got Ovita and Dexter.
Thank you. Paul, you mentioned early on, and I remember this quite well when the whole conversation came about the arena, and I know you've met with people in the community, and I think you stated at the very beginning, you kept your word as far as, is it 1585?
1585, yes, ma'am.
I think we were a little short-sighted when we pulled that number out some years ago. So I would like to know are you keeping wages in your foresight as you grow, as you develop, as we support this?
Of course we are, but we're doing more than that, I would say. We do so much in the way of workforce development. Today, there are 20 students that are over there that are being paid while they're receiving college education, while they're receiving hands-on experience. We do Bread for Life that I know you're very familiar with. We have over
Very
10
lovely.
students there. I have one of my staff full-time on the board of the Career Academy, working together with the Athens-Clarke County School District. I'm on the board of Athens Technical College on their foundation. We just raised over $100,000 so we can keep students going there. But when you see students come in as volunteers or maybe they come in a very entry-level position and they move up and they move up and they move up, they become the future management of the Classic Center. So yes, I'm very interested in seeing them grow.
And I guess my point is that as much work as we have been doing around housing and the cost of housing, I would like all of our nonprofits and businesses to be able to look at what their profit would be while we're able to pay people livable wages that they can afford some of these $30,000 homes and these $15,000. That's where I was leading to. So that's what I meant when I said the 1585 was
85.
short.
Remember, that's just the floor
Okay.
of where we are.
Well, I just wanted to bring it to your attention.
I hear you loud and clear, and I'll do my best.
And we'll close with Dexter.
Yeah, Paul, and thank you for bringing this, future hotels, any talk about other hotels possibly getting built downtown or?
Yes, and God knows we need them. Katie did a study, I did a study, and that's where I'm saying it's right about 600 new rooms that are needed. We're seeing some boutique-like hotels that are coming in, and that's helpful, especially right now, as Katie's numbers indicated. But I think we could, I really believe the Bensons are going to replace the Holiday Inn as time marches on. And I think that would be, another 200 rooms coming into the market. We'll get the, what used to be the Hilton Garden Inn will come back as a Courtyard by Marriott. That will be helpful. But I still think we're going to need another 400 hotel rooms above and beyond that which I see in the pipeline right now.
Thank you.
All right, thanks, Paul, I really appreciate it.
Thank you.
All right, and I think those are the only two that had a screen presentation. And I think Advantage, the regional library system, and the public defender just have handouts. So call up folks from Advantage if they're ready.
We actually did send a presentation on to Lisa Furman and everything, but I'm not sure if that translated through. I don't mind getting up and doing a little song and dance for you guys.
We can get
It's not a big deal. I do have presents though, so.
Nice. Thank you.
You.
Thank you, sir.
If we, and what I can do, maybe perhaps down the road is send or resend it, that email. I'm not sure what happened to it, but I did send it last week, or no, yeah, last week to Lisa Furman presentation. Yeah. I'm not trying to publicly call her.
We'll make sure we get that.
Okay. Okay, well, let's see if I can remember everything that I wrote in the PowerPoint. So, depending on how much you guys know or are familiar with Advantage Behavioral Health Systems, we are what you call a quasi-governmental entity of the state, meaning that we contract with the state to serve specific regions. We are one of 21 of those organizations that are set up across the state as the safety net provider for individuals with mental health, substance abuse, developmental disabilities, and other challenges that are typically individuals who fall below the poverty levels. They have a lot of additional barriers associated with stability and independence and self-determination, in addition to their severe and persistent mental illness or substance abuse. In Athens-Clarke County, we serve every year an average of about 3,000 Clarke County residents throughout the year. We employ close to 100 to 120 employees that call Clarke County their home. Across our entire region, the 10-county region of Northeast Georgia, we employ about 400 employees. We have close to 50 separate programs, largely targeted to providing what we call a comprehensive response to care for the individuals. As I alluded to earlier, we've got folks that come to us, and what I like to tell people is do not think of us as a provider of behavioral health services. Think of us as a provider of services to individuals with behavioral health challenges, and there's a key difference there. These are individuals that come to us that have a lot of barriers. They have a lot of external and internal barriers to stability and to independence. And so therefore we have to be person-centered and comprehensive in our approach and creative in many ways to engaging with these individuals, to provide a level of support and consistent level of support. And we have to have many partnerships. There is not one single organization in our community that has all the answers. We have to, it is imperative that we have to effectively partner with many of the organizations, many of the institutions within our community, those being Piedmont Health, those being the justice systems, the courts, the jails, the police departments. We partner with recovery centers, other homeless service organizations, the school systems. We partner with everybody. We have institutionalized and formalized partnerships that clarify how we are going to communicate and coordinate care with many of these individuals throughout. To that point, and I know you guys are sort of in a space where you don't get to see all the people that we serve on a daily basis. You don't get to experience the successes that we get to see. Individuals who come to us are there for a reason. They have tried and they have been through the system many, many times in many cases. They have burned a lot of bridges because, you know, when they get to us being that safety net, typically they do not have any insurance. They fall below the federal poverty guidelines. They have experienced many cases of housing instability. They have many experiences with the local criminal system, the emergency rooms, the hospitals, things like that. And so we are there to help them get up off the floor, not to pick them up off the floor. We are there to help get them up off the floor with their own assistance. And so I wanted to take a chance and take an opportunity to share with you guys some of the successes that we get to see, because you're not lucky enough to hang out with us on a daily basis and see some of this. So I've got just a few stories that I would like to share with each of you. To start off with, Chris has been, and these are not real names. Chris has been involved with Advantage off and on for the past several years. However, this story focuses on events since 2024. Chris has been involved in our residential treatment programs twice leading up to this point. Both times, she unfortunately relapsed with her drug of choice. During her second time in residential treatment, we had one of our community programs engage with her about how she was and where she wanted to be. She was not doing her best. She was not motivated or serious about her recovery. She was getting into trouble with residential staff and ended up getting discharged from their services due to that reason. Chris then became enrolled within one of our day treatment programs and received a referral to one of our employment support programs. She confided to staff about having children and never being active in their lives, and that she has no relationship at all with them. And she regrets living her life in that way that she has. She stated that if she could turn back the hands of time, then she would do better in life for them and herself. She did well with the day treatment program, but she ran into some issues with her apartment, her roommates, peers, and some other family members that may not have had the best intentions with her recovery. Chris was able to get through it all with the support of our engagement staff and our other staff members working with her in other Advantage programs. Unfortunately, Chris relapsed again over the holidays. She had wanted to spend time with the children, but they decided to spend time with other family members instead of her. She admitted that she did not know how to cope with that rejection and went back into what she knows. However, Chris was able to get back on track, and she graduated from one of our day treatment programs and then graduated again recently from another collaborative treatment program. Chris now has an apartment within one of our housing support programs. She's working full-time with a local employer here in Athens. She continues to work closely with our support and employment services and has developed an honest and consistent relationship with our case manager. We are so excited to get to be one of the ones involved within her life. We have another one. Advantage engagement staff met with Robin back in November 2022. Outside of our outpatient program. 5 days later, Robin was in our crisis center with suicidal ideations. He expressed that he was tired of being outside, walking in the cold and freezing weather. Staff spent 6 hours talking about his family, his future, work history, work opportunities, and housing. We talked about self-esteem, how he was embarrassed about his teeth, and personal presentation. We asked questions about great times, family members, good memories, and he realized that physical appearance wasn't that important. He was guilty about his mother's suffering for his situation. After Robin left our crisis center, we did his initial intake into one of our other specialty programs on the same day, built a resume, found interview clothes. We helped him apply to a local grocery store that was hiring, and 30 minutes later, he received a phone call from the manager and set up an interview the next day. Robin has been actively engaged with our specialty program since that time. He's currently today, he's gainfully employed. He has an apartment, a car, and a stable life. This is what we do it for. Joan began working with Advantage many years ago with varying degrees of success and stability. In 2023, Joan became involved with one of our community support programs and also enrolled within one of our residential treatment programs. Joan had lost custody of her 2 teenage daughters, lost her home, car, and just everything in her life. Joan was struggling with addiction to alcohol and pain pills. She felt that she could not do much due to her mental and physical health. Joan also had a violent background with many charges, which was another barrier to finding stable employment. Program staff worked with her to build up her confidence and eventually was able to coordinate employment with a local retailer. Joan loved that job and worked there for almost a month before the manager let her go due to her background. She was so discouraged. She was not able to find employment during her time within our residential treatment program due to her having to relocate to another location for personal reasons. However, staff continued to work with her and assisted Joan with finding employment with a local medical support facility. Since this time, Joan's been able to maintain that employment, get her teenage girls back, get housing with the assistance of her family and some creative local support. She also got a car and just got her life back. Joan keeps in contact with program staff and stated that she does not know where she would be if it was not for the staff going above and beyond to help her. These are staff like Katie Stroud, Des Partlow-Greer, Gary Green, Chris Littlefield, Jackie Stubbs, Lainey Mathis, Pamela Mitchell, Astrid Aponte, Brandon Cornelius, V. Robinson, John Morris, Joe Levine, Tiffany Harvey, Loretta Morse, Sandy Scott, Charles Campbell, Kiki Gillespie, Jennifer Barnett Aday, Tammy Kinney, Tarsha Deadweiler, Marcello Morris, Angela Clark, Jakia Colbert, Jody Tyler, Jonathan Barr, Shanice Cowens, Mary Miller, Christian Delmarter, Amberly Smith, Shauna Fagan. These are just off the top. We have 400 employees that go to work day in and day out and get to work with these guys and are involved in these guys' lives and make these changes and make these differences for these guys. And it's incredibly inspiring. And I would encourage all of you, when you're making these difficult decisions, when we're looking at policy and looking at all of this difficulties that are out there, it's an incredibly complicated problem. And all of us, I really firmly believe, are all on the same side. We all want to make a difference. And there are so many different pathways to choose. And with these guys and having the information from them and being able to be in a situation, in a space where we can proactively inform you guys about the extent of not only the need, but also the extent of the services, and to remind you guys that success is out there and recovery happens every day. And there's so many great things that are going on out there. And I wanted to take this opportunity to celebrate just a few of those, because these are 3 stories out of thousands that happen every year with our population, and not only in Athens-Clarke County, but also across the 10-county region of Northeast Georgia. We've got a lot of other exciting new options down the road. We've got the residential facility that we're looking to build, breaking ground in probably in a couple of months as things go through. We've hit some roadblocks with federal funds, and who knows how things are going to go in the political environment. That being said, we are resilient. We are strong. We have an incredible employee base, and we are always looking to resource and leverage as many funds as we can to meet that ever-growing need of people that are coming across our door and seeking support. So with that, I'll let it go and open it up to any questions. Patrick.
Thanks, Evan. Patrick?
So you're just asking for an additional 20,000 from last year?
Melissa?
Yeah, you mentioned the federal funds. Have you gotten any clear idea of what impacts you're seeing from slashing of federal funds, or is that kind of still up in the air and working its way through courts and stuff?
It's a great question. It is still up in the air, working its way through courts. The immediate, within the next 12 months, we're not seeing any impact. Within the programs that, we oversee, we do see the next 12 months as consistent. But we've also seen several other programs that we're looking at leveraging that have gone away. So those opportunities have gone away. And so, yeah.
Congress is going through the budget process right now. Are you aware of proposed cuts in that budget that will directly impact you?
We are.
Okay.
Carol?
Yeah. Evan, I have two questions that are building on the full-day session I went to at the County Commissioners of Georgia Conference on Mental Health and Criminal Justice System. Since you're here, I'm going to ask you, I think they're quick, easy questions. Does Advantage Behavioral Health, our jail, mental health, medical services are provided by whoever the jail works with? Am I correct?
That is correct. It's a
Does
contracted
Advantage, one of the things they talked about was whatever you guys are called, I forget the
Community
region.
Service Board.
What?
Community Service
A
Board.
community service board. Do you guys share information? Do you share with them? They were talking about how important that was.
provider. We can. We absolutely can. We have to go through what we call a release of information process. We have to get client consent in order to be able to do that, but yes. But we sort of formalized that process, so it's
You
part
did
of the
that.
operation.
And then with the crisis walk-in center there, what's the relationship with the hospitals like Piedmont and St. Mary's? Do they refer people to bring people to you? Do people go straight? How does that work? Because we don't have crisis walk-in at the hospitals, right? Am I correct on that? So
No,
does-
we do get crisis walk-ins from all over the place. We get them, I think, from the police department. The hospitals do refer. And there's, a lot, it really depends on the level of need, but, we do get those referrals.
Okay.
I think last year, if my memory serves, and you'll see this in the PowerPoint, we had about 600 individuals come through our crisis center last year.
Okay. Would they be referred there by the hospital to go over there, or the hospital?
Some of
if
them
someone
would,
shows
but
up? Okay.
we have multiple points of referrals. yeah.
Okay, so then also on this, I think people have asked you this in previous years, commissioners, but it looks to me from the financials that I'm looking at, that we might be the sole county that gives you money?
No, that is not
No,
true.
that's not, then I'm reading this wrong. Because it says, like in 2025, it says ACC Gov funding at 198,000, and then under county and local, oh, that's ACC. Okay, how much do you get from other counties?
I don't have the numbers right off, but I can get you
Okay.
those. I will say we do get funding from every single one of our counties except for two.
Okay,
And those two counties, we have no, we do get a building in lieu of. And the other county, we have no clinic or anything. It's a relatively smaller rural county. But we do get, I would say, a comparable amount, given the numbers we serve versus the amount of money that we get. Jackson, Walton, Clarke County clearly is the largest county that we serve. And then you look at Walton County, and then you look at Jackson County and Barrow County. I think it's somewhat comparable,
okay.
but not quite there.
Thank you.
Evan, thank you so
Anybody
much.
else? Thank you, guys. Really appreciate the time.
Thank you.
All right. Getting your dad's.
Yeah.
Wait a second.
Yeah.
Extra get that.
Give me one grip,
Oh, yeah.
you go one way over there.
Here's some handouts for this side.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Oh, look, they're punched and ready for our book. I love it.
We follow directions well.
Of course, you're a librarian.
We can go ahead and get started.
Oh, are you sure?
Yeah, go ahead, Beth.
Oh,
That's good.
okay. All right, okay. Thank you. Well, hello, Mayor and Commissioners. My name is Beth McIntyre, and I'm honored to serve as the new Executive Director of the Athens Regional Library System. Today marks day 34 on the job, but who's counting? Thank you for allowing me to refer to my notes as I speak. I want to stay on track and respect your time. First, thank you for your ongoing support. Library staff regularly share how much they appreciate working with you. We're especially grateful for the recent recarpeting of the main library and the new HVAC upgrade that is now underway. A welcoming environment is the foundation of our mission, and your investment makes that possible. Today, we're requesting a modest budget increase from last year, and it's for good reason. Athens-Clarke County residents love their libraries, and they're using them more than ever. Over 275,000 people walked through our doors last year. That's enough to form a line over 100 miles long, shoulder to shoulder. Not end to end, shoulder to shoulder. Wi-Fi usage is up 18%, a sign that the spaces you've helped us create are not only welcoming but vital. Our digital collection is thriving too. More than 153,000 ebooks and audiobooks were checked out online last year. If those were physical books, they'd weigh over 115 tons, the same as 38 adult African elephants. It's a powerful reminder of how we serve readers in all formats. We're also preparing for an exciting new chapter, the East Side Library, set to break ground this fall. This area includes numerous housing developments and apartment complexes, as you know, with more on the way. It's also home to 6 elementary schools, 2 middle schools, and 1 high school, yet no nearby public library. The East Side Library will change that, expanding access and deepening partnerships with neighborhood groups, schools, and local businesses. While books and buildings matter, the heart of our library is our people. That's why this year's request focuses on supporting our dedicated staff. Many departments remain understaffed, and our team is increasingly called on to manage challenging situations. We're thankful for your decision last year to align library staff starting pay with Athens-Clarke County employees. This year, we respectfully request a 4% increase in hourly wages in line with countywide adjustments. We're also planning for the increased cost of the state health benefit plan. Last year, the hike came after our budget was submitted, forcing us to shift funds away from an off-duty police officer support and a part-time accounting role. This year, our request includes coverage for the higher SHBP cost, now over $22,000 per employee per year for 29 full-time team members. I've seen the mayor's recommended FY26 budget. Thank you for including an increase of $250,000 for library staff. This additional funding leaves us with a shortfall of $37,323 that must be addressed. Before I close, I want to highlight one area where our impact is both immediate and lasting: children's services. These programs are truly the heartbeat of our libraries. To share more about this essential work, it's my pleasure to introduce Rebecca Ballard, also known as Rebecca Sunshine. After she speaks, I'll be here with my team to answer any questions you may have. Thank you again for your continued support of the library.
Hi, everyone. Thank you so much for having us here. I'm Rebecca Ballard. I'm the Regional Children's Services Coordinator for our library system, and I'm very excited to share with you some information about our children's services in our libraries. Last year, our Athens libraries presented over 740 children's library programs with over 30,000 children in attendance. Kids in Athens read almost 70,000 books just last summer during our summer reading program. We are constantly working to develop new programs to meet the needs of our residents, like special story times for our neurodiverse patrons, a variety of STEM workshops, and music and art programs. We also love partnering with Athens organizations to offer programs to children and their caregivers, and we are regularly traveling out in the community, visiting all of our local schools for story times, book clubs, parent nights, attending community events, and presenting story times and craft programs at the Athens Area Homeless Shelters Bridge to Home. We are very proud also of our success of our student library card, which we call the Play Card. This is a library card that every student in Clarke County Schools can use to check out books and access digital resources with no late fees. We have over 15,000 students enrolled in this program, and we expect that number to continue to grow. Our teen department also has a wildly successful after-school program that served over 6,500 students last year. We offer a large variety of weekly and monthly events for teens that are both fun and educational, like Math Circle, Literary Cafe, and Let's Talk About That, which is an introduction to philosophy. We also offer some very popular annual events that attract hundreds of teens, like Bling Your Prom, where teens can choose a complete prom outfit to take home for free. I hear from Athens families every single day about how much they love the library, and the services that we provide for them are an essential part of their children's upbringing. In our library, we offer services to children beginning at birth, and our library is there to serve throughout a lifetime. We have something for everyone of every age, every single day, and library programs are free to everyone. Our library is busier than ever. And based on our increasing attendance statistics this year, we expect our library will be even more bustling and full of patrons who need our services and help throughout the next year. Thank you very much for helping to continue to provide the amazing services our community has come to expect and love from our library. We're very happy to answer any questions you have.
Thanks, Rebecca and Beth. Questions from commissioners?
Okay. Love the library. Thank y'all for what y'all do. So I did not know that y'all do mobile hotspots and rent out Chromebooks. Do y'all advertise that, or if I'm just a regular patron getting books, how do I come about knowing that?
We just got kind of an influx of more hotspots, so we have more than we've ever had to check out. I'm not sure exactly about that.
I can talk about that.
Thank you.
Sure. We have a mobile hotspots to check out with your library card, just like a book. If you're at the Clarke County Library, you just go upstairs to the computer desk and you can check it out. Take it home. If you're traveling, if you need internet at home, you can use it for free.
And the reason I said it, because in parts of my area doesn't have adequate Wi-Fi.
Oh, sure.
Or home internet, so that's a great value. So hopefully, people listening, they'll know that. if
Absolutely.
They
I
need,
hope they will take advantage of that.
that boost in internet. Have you all noticed any? We just installed solar. Have y'all noticed any reduction in electricity costs? And
I can't answer that one.
and just one criticism: it is cold in the library.
Oh, yes, it is right now because the wonderful HVAC system they're replacing. So we have some temporary coolers, and they're actually
Okay.
way cooler than they will be eventually.
I'm just saying. What I'm leading that, if you turn the temperature down just a little bit, you'll save some energy and some money.
Right, exactly. I hear what you're saying. They just brought those big machines in, and they got the big columns and everything. So, yeah. So,
Hey, but have y'all noticed any reduction with the new solar?
it hasn't been activated yet.
Okay.
That's why I can answer that because it hasn't been activated yet. But Lori, do you remember how much the? They said up to 30% of our annually our power will be reduced.
All right, thank you.
Carol?
I have two questions then. One, when will it be activated? And then two, what kind of, forecasting preparation are you doing, planning for the East Side Library staffing and the budgetary needs that will come with that? Is there, and what can we expect from the state to help with that staffing over there?
Well, first, it's going to be activated when Georgia Power decides it will be activated. I understand they may tell us and they may not. So, but I am working with ACC staff, and they're keeping us up to date on that. As far as East Side, state funds pay 90% of construction cost. I'm sure you have seen that, up to $3 million at this point. We have gotten more than, it's up to $4.5 million from the state because we've asked for money in numerous years. Even though the top is $3 million per year, we've asked for numerous years. So, but the state doesn't provide money for staffing. Staffing is local funds. So we'll need to find that. And if we break ground this fall, I was concerned. I was like, I'm new here. I was like, oh my gosh, this library's coming soon. We got to be asking them for more money. But it won't be open until a full year after that. We're going to be here for FY27 asking for those funds.
So the funding at the main library, is there any state funding there, or is that all ACC funding for the?
The state funds our state-paid positions. We have 8 state-paid positions. And then they also offer, they also have SSG and then our materials money. That does pay for all your staff at the regional office.
But at the library here, it's 8 out of, how many full-time staff or how many, what's the staff number for the library? Does anyone have that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
About 70
For the Athens-Clarke County Library?
for just the Athens-Clarke County.
About 70.
Library. Then you can add another 2 for our 2 resources, and then 3 staff for Pinewoods.
So out of those, are those all, are those 8 of those positions state paid?
No, we have,
So
how
there's-
many regional office staff? 14, about 14 regional office staff. And so we take those 8 state-paid positions and divide it among the
Okay.
14 people.
Okay.
So it doesn't go very
So
far.
basically, Athens-Clarke County pays for
For the staff,
99%
yes.
of the staff.
And where I came from, that's traditionally
Yeah.
the way local funds work.
Okay, thank you. Just need reminders on that every year.
Thank you.
Rebecca, thank you so much. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I caught it all. I caught it all.
Have they moved in?
Over me.
I mean, I wanted to get this back, and I'll send this to Evan.
I just want to let you know, we also have 2 staff from Winterville.
Okay, great. Thank you.
I got a blank page.
I'll take one.
Am I supposed to have a blank page?
The graph now.
Is there like invisible ink there or something?
Okay.
Thank you.
I'll take 2.
All right, so here we are.
Apply for Lady Justice.
Yeah.
All right, everyone, we're really lucky to have John Donnelly from Public Defender's Office with us.
Yes, good evening. Thank you very much for inviting me. I'm John Donnelly from the Public Defender's Office, and we have submitted our budget request for this fiscal year, and I just saw a few hours ago the mayor's recommended budget is very close to what we've asked for, but shaved a little bit off. But anyway, I'm asking the commission to support our request in full. And it represents a small increase from last year. And the main reason for the increase would be just for attorney salaries, well, staff salaries. It's hard to keep experienced veteran lawyers in our office. We lost 2 last year. One of them took actually a job, a much lower stress job, after he'd been with us for about 20 years. Another one was poached by the courthouse. They got a great new juvenile court judge from our office. And so, you know, they're hard to replace. We have a couple younger people coming in, but, you know, they take a while to learn the ropes. And we try to provide, well, in any event, it's tough. So we have to try to stay somewhat competitive. We're still not comparable to veteran prosecutors' positions as far as salary, but, you know, we try, and it is a moving target. And we've had support from the commission in the past few years, but as, you know, the numbers change as people leave and new people come in, and, you know, with the years of experience and the type of experience, it's a moving target. But as you see in my graphic, I hope it's not misleading. I know a lot of people might not consider us part of the public safety category, but you can't, you know, there's two scales on the justice scale. I don't know what those plates are called, if that has a specific name. Officer, the officers outside was trying to Google it for me, but all we could come up with were the two scales. And in any event, it doesn't work without both of them being in balance and making adjustments to the two scales. And so really without us, the public safety machine cannot operate, cannot function. And you spend a lot of money to enforce the law and to prosecute cases, but you have to have that last piece to balance the scale and to make sure that justice is served. There's a lot of talk about due process in the news lately because it's, you know, being ignored in certain places. We want to make sure that that's not ignored here, and I think we do a good job of it. So yeah, I don't want to just stand up here and ramble. I'm not asking for a whole lot. I was here in this room earlier this week. I was part of the, as the judge kept saying, it was a historic jury trial, the first ever criminal jury trial in this room. And so we had jurors sitting over on that side. They squeezed them in over there. The people who came to serve on the jury were very accommodating as far as their personal space, and we squeezed 14 people in over in that section. And maybe that's why they didn't deliberate very long. They wanted to get out of here, but they did a good job.
Patrick?
Yeah, so are you down two public defenders, or are you just two veteran public defenders?
Oh, yeah, no, I was just using that as an example. We have, I believe we have, it did take a while to get those positions filled, but I believe we will have them filled shortly. We have two people scheduled to come in. But I was, I guess, saying that it's,
But staffing-wise, you're good.
yes, we are good, but we just want to keep people paid at a semi-competitive level. They really do dedicate themselves to the work, and the people that we have are amazing. But, you know, there comes a point where you have to pay them within the ballpark of, you can't insult them with what you're going to pay them.
And your ask is 85,326.
Was the increase over last year?
Yeah.
Yes, yes.
Okay.
And can I say one other thing? I'm sorry. The one other point I wanted to make before I take that question was, you know, as in just sort of an example of the reasonable expectation of some increase in the funding level, is that our landlord has increased our rent about the same percentage that we're asking you all to increase our funding. And so they expect, you know, some increase because they understand that there's going to be, exactly, our new landlord is ACC. And so.
I was wondering about that.
And so, you know, you all as landlords recognize that there's going to be inflation and some increased cost, and that the tenant is expected to pay that increase each year. And so I think it's perfectly reasonable for me to expect our staff to be paid accordingly, because they're going to have landlords too that are going to be looking to increase their rent or their taxes or whatever, so.
What is?
Melissa
oh,
Carroll.
okay.
I'm just curious, have you seen any change in your caseload or the types of cases? Are you seeing any
Why would we see a change in the time? No.
That's what I want to know. I'm just
Well,
wondering, are there
no,
trends that you might have some insight on?
It's hard to see that kind of big picture anecdotally without me, running numbers. The number of cases filed in both courtroom, well, the state court and superior court, through the solicitor's office and the DA's office, really, there was a big drop off 2021 when at the beginning of the pandemic, and there were not as many people being arrested. The jail population was way down even for several months. And that didn't last long. The jail population came roaring back, and it's pretty, I would guess it's at an all-time high, because I have looked at that anecdotally this year, and it's seemed pretty high to me.
Higher than we'd like.
It is, yeah. And then, but then the last couple of years, the case numbers were back to where they were under the previous administration, under Mr. Malden, and the case filings and of all types. Really haven't noticed a difference now that there's new administration in the DA's office. Haven't really noticed anything that I could report anecdotally. The thing that's not going to be a surprise to you all, that everybody knows about, is that particularly it's more noticeable in state court, that handles misdemeanors, which I guess, shoplifting, criminal trespass, petty theft, public intoxication, are the level of mental health, people in mental health crisis in the jail and in court. That has been trending for several years and is really getting to, it continues to rise and be an issue that confounds all the players in this. Often the sheriff's office will contact us and say, hey, can you please help get this person out of jail? And it's funny that they call us, like, well, someone signed a warrant for their arrest. You might want to call them, or someone's prosecuting that. But yes, we will try, and we work on that. And that's not unusual for us to get those calls. And then, they come to court regularly. It's difficult to deal with, and then to get the kind of response that the criminal justice system expects. We're going to give you this sanction and hope they learn a lesson, but with the kind of clouded thinking that people are suffering, that, so we have people with open state court cases. They will have 8, 9, 10 open misdemeanor cases while the courts and the lawyers are trying to figure out what is the best way to handle this.
Thank you.
Carol, and then I'll circle back.
What is the difference between what you requested and what the mayor put in his
I
budget?
think around $5,000.
$5,000.
Okay. Thank you. 5,000?
Yeah. I don't know
Okay.
why they, knocked that down. I
Okay,
guess
okay.
Just to try to keep me honest, I'm not sure.
I don't know.
And
Okay.
Oconee funded me in full, they said. I don't think it's been, hasn't been signed yet, but they told me I don't need to come up here.
Okay.
In their commission that they're.
We just wanted to see you.
And, yeah, well, I love to be here. And, and, wait, what was I going to say when, no, I forgot. Go ahead.
So, yeah, we'll work on that 5,000. So in your report, you said I don't know how the budget works, so maybe your department budget work, but you listed that you return unspent funds. Can you keep that fund? Like,
I'm sorry? Yes, we
you-
do that every year. Every year that I've been the circuit public defender, which is now more than that, like 13 years, we have, for whatever reason, if we've been fully staffed, but then we have sort of an operational budget, if we haven't spent all that, sometimes it has been as little as, $10,000 or something, but sometimes it's $100,000. If we've had a vacant position for 6 months, a year, I feel like I've contracted for that money, and other people have told me, you can spend that money, and I thought, well, I might be able to legally, but I'm not going to do that.
And I do remember this coming up before about you returning money.
Yeah, finance is very familiar with, I do that every year.
No quarters under his couch.
It's very noble of you.
Well, I don't know about that, but I'm not.
Any other questions?
Yeah, let me ask.
Well, I did see, as I was preparing this and looking at other agencies, that one of the prosecutor's offices is asking for like a 25% increase. Like, whoa, I should have asked for a lot more. What do they have planned that we're going to have to prepare for? So, I come to these every year, and I'm in my little bubble thinking, okay, I want to keep this conservative, this request, and I want to, I don't want to be disingenuous and ask for something I don't really need, and I don't want to play a game where I'm like, I'm going to ask for this, and I'm going to hope we can compromise down here. I'm just want to be straight, but then I see other agencies like, wow, okay, what are they going to do with all this new money anyway, so.
Well, first of all, they got to get it from us, so.
Okay. Right, that's true.
Our question is, you were talking about returning state funds. Do you have,
County funds, right, yes.
Not state.
do you have the ability though, and maybe we don't with county funds, you talking about salaries, can you not use some of those savings that you may have to do for your salaries? And again, I'm just asking, I don't know, is that proper, but, if you got, especially if you got $100,000 in savings one year, could you?
Well, but then if I fill the position, so there would be some mechanical issues with that.
Okay.
But if I thought that was a viable way to spend the money to keep people from leaving, I think I would talk to Tim Taylor or someone in finance and see if that was kosher to do that, if that was acceptable way to do that. But I don't want to get in a position where I'm going to spread this over to some place that I hadn't budgeted before, and then I got to fill this position, and now I don't have enough.
Understand.
Yeah.
Okay.
But Kelly, in January, or there's some time the following year after the budget is passed, that we do budget amendments?
Oh, certainly, it's not uncommon for budget amendments to happen. You're going to see one in the coming cycle for a department that needed a little bit of extra funding.
Yeah, I've never come back mid-year so far, and hope I don't have to, but.
We appreciate that.
Appreciate that.
Yeah, I'm sure you guys have enough to worry about, and I appreciate y'all's dedication to this effort, and thanks for letting me speak. And please, I don't know if you ever get calls from your constituents about our office or anything that, they think we're not doing. I know people are, in these situations, are very stressed out, and it's very difficult, and it's not pleasant, and they can get unsatisfied very quickly. I try to, manage those types of situations as well as I can, and then
I'm really happy to say that in 19 years, sitting in this room, I've never gotten a constituent call about
You're about to jinx me, come on.
unsatisfactory service from the public defender's office.
Yeah.
I have gotten those calls about some other units in the criminal justice system, but never about your office.
I want to say thank you, though, because I have reached out for advice from some of you, and they've been very helpful.
Good.
Regarding constituents who have found themselves in a bind, just understanding what to expect, and the public defenders that I've spoken with are just phenomenal human beings.
Thank you, appreciate that.
John, thanks for what you do.
Okay.
Please thank your staff.
Thanks. Thank you. Good evening.
All right, everybody. Appreciate you being here. We are going to get to do this some more. So I hope everybody has a great night and warms themselves up for another round.